Hey, what's up, everyone? Gleekon here again, bringing you another episode of Lore of Warcraft. Thank you. Thank you so darn tootin' much for tuning in. This show, this journey we do together, I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope that I add a little bit of something to your Warcraft greater experience. So today is our weekly short. We're going to do a little itty bitty short today. It's going to be about the Warcraft Encyclopedia, now technically non-canon, but kind of mostly canon entry on Malorne. So stay a while and listen as we cover this episode. If you want to access the Warcraft Encyclopedia, there are great links both in Wowpedia itself, or if you look on the list I have tagged in this sheet. It's available. You can find it on Reddit, but if you look up Acaria TX Reaper Warcraft chronological order, this is where up until 2022 it's a great resource. It's they've abandoned it, unfortunately, because they kept it going for years. And shout out, this show is built around the framework, the skeleton of that. I'm only going to do this one short one today because the next one kind of changes course just a little bit. So I want to just put this one nice in a nutshell. Here we go. So, also, if you look at I think it's called Internet Archive or something like that. Not the one that we sometimes read comics on or whatever, but there is another one. Maybe it's Internet Time Capsule. I don't know. You'll have to Google it, but there's a site that basically has freeze-framed copies of the internet at different points in time. It's pretty cool. All right, so Malorne is also known as the White Stag. Here's a cool picture of him right here. I already used this, unfortunately, for the first druid, so I'll have to find another picture, but it's a pretty good one of him. The Way Watcher, or Aparo, which is a term specific to the Tauren. So as a demigod, that's what the Tauren call him, Aparo. Malorne was a forest demigod who always took the form of a huge white stag, despite the powerful nature magic he wielded. He and the moon goddess Elune were the parents of the demigod Cenarius. The Tauren have a myth that purportedly relates the story of Cenarius' conception. And it kind of explains why Cenarius is almost like a centaur, since Malorne is the stag god. Because Ysera the Dreamer agreed to act as Cenarius' foster mother, she has often been mistaken for the demigod's true mother. As a result, there are also rumors that she and Malorne had a romantic relationship. However, such rumors are baseless. Though Ysera had a deep affection and respect for the demigod, he was one of nature's mightiest champions and a frequent visitor to the Emerald Dream. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a storyline, possibly with Malorne, if not with some other stag person in Shadowlands, that appears to indicate that maybe he has a male partner. So, not sure how those things go, and if this has been retconned, or if I'm conflating another stag that they added. Powers of the Wild. Indeed, Malorne possessed a strong link to the dream that was similar to that of a green dragon. He too had dream sight, and so simultaneously perceived both the dream and the current state of Azeroth. Malorne also possessed healing powers along with a calming aura that sometimes stopped battles before they began. Furthermore, he was one of the first living beings in the world. By the time of his death, he had become one of Azeroth's most beloved and powerful demigods, and he was renowned for his wisdom. I mean, other than the most bloodthirsty, who would not want a wise, healing, peace-inducing? God, we could use some of that in our world, right? Rumor has it that a group known as the Druids of the Antler once existed, a collection of people who sought to emulate Malorne and recreate his powers on Azeroth. If Druids as a whole are wary of detection, though, this small subgroup, if it exists, is proven even more elusive. No solid evidence of these particular Druids has ever been found. What a nugget that is. Wouldn't it be cool to find healer resto-spec druids, the Druids of the Antler? I wonder if they're seen somewhere in the game. That's cool. Nugget imprint itself in my brain so that in case we ever come upon them, I can connect these two. And finally, a valiant end. Yet memory is fickle even for the Night Elves, some of whom witnessed Malorne's heroic death. In the ensuing millennia, most of Azeroth's denizens have forgotten Malorne. Almost all of those who do remember the tale are druids. During the War of the Ancient, Cenarius appealed to Malorne and the other demigods of Azeroth to join the battle against the Burning Legion. After much debate, Cenarius persuaded them to unite under the command of Captain Jared Shadowsong, who was leading a large army of night elves and other creatures against the Legion. When Cenarius was badly wounded in battle, Malorne charged at the attacking demons and held them back, while the Night Elves dragged his unconscious son to safety. Irritated at losing his chosen prey, Archimonde emerged from the demonic host and challenged Malorne to single combat. The other demons cheered Archimonde on, and the White Stag stubbornly fought with all his might. Even so, ultimately Archimonde snapped the heroic demigod's neck. Woof. Sad end to what seems to be a noble and cool character in the Warcraft lore. All right, next time that we do a short, I just X'd out, but I think we're going to read a greater article that was released that discussed just synopsis of the Sundering itself. And in the meantime, maybe tomorrow, if not for sure... Oh, not tomorrow, but in the next couple days, we're going to go ahead and keep going on Cenarius, and by the end of this weekend, we should be fully done. We are 2 to 3 episodes out from being done with Cenarius, which will kick off next week's run of Zul'Farrak and the following follow-ups to Zul'Farrak behind that. All right, everybody, I thank you so much for watching, for listening, for tuning in. If you liked what you saw, smash that subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your wife, tell your family, tell your hubby. Go onto my Patreon and subscribe to the lore of Assassin's Creed. Side project I do. I did an episode last night of a terribly French-translated comic called Desmond. And... stay safe. Be at peace. Be like Malorne. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Lore of Warcraft.